Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam asher kiddushenu, v'mitzvotav v'tzovenu, v'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us in his commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves in the words of the Torah. This week's Torah portion is Bo, and it is a very special Torah portion. If we wanted to, we could say that Jesus is everything. He's the whole Bible. This whole book, this whole thing is Jesus. And we can be done because he is everything. He is life. And without him there is nothing. And this is the truth. But God commanded us to teach our children. He commanded us to know his word and to remember what he did for his people. I'm not a Bible teacher. I'm not a Torah teacher. But I just like to do commentaries and share what I learned about the Torah portion. This week's Torah portion, I want to talk to you about two people. About Joshua and about Nachshon. Nachshon was a man who jumped in the water. Let me see if I can find it here. Type in Nachshon, Nachshon, Nachshon. Meet Nachshon ben Amadav. So Nachshon Exodus. Let's do in Bible. So Nachshon was a prince of the tribe of Judah, and he was the first person to jump into the water. He was the first person to take the leap to cross the Red Sea, to go into the Promised Land. What kind of situation was Nachshon in? Nachshon was in a desert, in a desert place, and there was a pillar of fire, a wall of fire in the desert. And behind that wall of fire was the enemy, was Egypt. And they wanted to get the Israelites. What does Nachshon do? He dives first into the water. Let me see if I can find where it says this in the Bible. Forgive me, I have not read this in quite some time. Most of you will bring one more plague. Let's see. Okay. Here it is. It says Exodus chapter 14, verse 20. And it came to pass between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud of darkness to them. But it gave light by night to these, so that the one who came not near the other all night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea. The Lord caused the sea to go back by the strong east wind all the night, made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on their left. So here, it doesn't actually say Nakshon. But in the Bible, I believe it's in Numbers, please look for yourself and see. It says that Nakshon was a member, he was a member, I believe, of the first Sanhedrin. Don't quote me on it. You look here, it says, I think it's Numbers. Let me look again for a second. There was a psalm written by King David about Nakshon, because King David is a descendant of Nakshon. Yes, he's a prince of Judah. And he was appointed by Moses upon God's command as a prince of the military, commander of the tribe of Judah, and one of the leaders of the tribes of Israel. Although his tribe was the fourth in the order of the patriarchs, at the dedication of the tabernacle he was the first to bring dedicatory offerings. His title or role is translated into modern English variously in the New Revised Standard Version as leader and census taker. What was this about him that stood out? While everybody else was babbling, Nakshon jumped into the water and trusted. Nakshon was ready. Nakshon was not afraid. There was amazing terror, terrible sight. One of the scariest sights you've ever seen in your life. But Nakshon jumps into the Red Sea and walks upon dry land into the promised land. There's another man I want to talk to you about. His name is Joshua. Joshua was a minister to Moses. And after Moses died, he was called upon by the Lord. He also had to cross the river. And in the Word of God, he was going to cross over into the land that was promised. And they couldn't yet cross over into this land that was promised to them until they circumcised all the males. Because the ones that were in the wilderness, that were of war, had died, that didn't obey God's voice in the beginning. And they hadn't even circumcised their children. God forbid. I'm not speaking against the children of Israel, because we could only dream to be such good people. But they had to circumcise their males. before they could go into the promised land. So what happened is they left a mound of foreskins, and they actually called the place after the name, a mound of like a mountain of foreskins. And then they crossed over to go fight the war. But when he went across, there was a man standing there on the other side with his sword drawn. And he approached him and he went to ask him, "Who are you? Are you for us or are you against us?" And he basically told the man, "I am sent from God, and I'm the commander of the Lord's army." Immediately Joshua fell down and he began to worship. He says, "What would you have me do?" And he says, "Take off the sandals of your feet, for the ground on which you stand is holy." So those are the two people I wanted to share with you about. The one who, even though he saw this terrible thing, even though he was afraid, even though the people were afraid, forgive me, I'm sorry, there was so much battling going on, and everybody was not sure what to do. Nachshon jumped into the water. He trusted God. He kept going. And Joshua took the call that was on his life. He heard the word of the Lord, and he obeyed the Lord, and he crossed over. When he saw the man with the sword drawn, he said, "For us or against us?" When the man told him that he was from the Lord and the commander of the Lord's army, he inquired on what he was to do. Shabbat Shalom.